Your future life partner just confessed what they've been hiding about you. And their next move could change everything. My beloved child, something has shifted in a way you were never supposed to notice this soon. The person who may become your future life partner has been carrying a truth about you quietly, and now that truth is becoming too powerful for them to keep hidden. They have finally admitted something they tried to push away again and again. You affected them far more deeply than they ever expected. There is something about your presence, your energy, and the way you make them feel understood that keeps returning to their mind. Even when they tried to focus on everything else, thoughts of you found their way back. But here is where everything changes. They are no longer simply thinking about you. They have reached a decision inside their heart. Don't skip, because the confession is only the beginning. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next part of this story reveals why their next move could completely change the connection between you. What they have been hiding is much bigger than simple attraction. Somewhere along the way, they began imagining what life could actually look like with you beside them. They wondered what ordinary mornings with you would feel like, what it would be like to share their victories with you, and whether you could become the person they would choose when everything else became uncertain. That realization surprised them because they never expected their feelings to grow this quietly or this strongly. And recently, one thought became impossible for them to ignore: what if I wait too long? That question changed something inside them. Suddenly, staying silent no longer felt comfortable. Suddenly, the possibility of you moving forward without them became real. Stay till the end, because the decision forming inside them is not what you might expect. They are preparing to stop hiding behind uncertainty, and once they do, you may finally understand why so many confusing moments seem to happen between you. But there is one final detail they have not revealed yet, and this is where the story takes its biggest turn. Their next move is connected to something they have wanted to tell you directly, something they have rehearsed privately but never found the courage to express clearly. They want you to know that their silence never meant you were unimportant. In fact, the opposite may have been true. The feelings became meaningful enough that they became careful with them. Now that careful distance is beginning to disappear. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The next time they have an opportunity to move closer, they may choose differently than before. Instead of hiding what they feel, they may finally show you through a decision that leaves very little room for doubt. And when that moment arrives, remember this: the biggest revelation is still ahead, because what they confessed about you explains only half of the story. What they are preparing to do next could change everything. Something changed the moment they finally stopped arguing with their own heart. For a long time, your future life partner believed they could keep these feelings contained, continue their normal routine, and somehow convince themselves that what they felt for you would eventually become quieter. But it didn't. It became clearer. Every small memory started carrying a different meaning: the conversations they replayed, the moments when your presence made everything feel lighter, even the silence between you that somehow said more than words ever could. And then came the realization they could no longer ignore: you were not simply someone passing through their life. You had become someone they could genuinely imagine choosing. Don't skip, because this is exactly where their hidden confession becomes something much bigger. They admitted that losing the possibility of you would leave them wondering for a very long time what could have happened if they had simply been brave enough to act. That thought shook them. Something huge is waiting for you, because after admitting this truth, they quietly made another decision, and this one is about what they intend to do when the right opportunity appears. Here is the surprising part: their next move may not begin with some enormous announcement. It could begin with something much more meaningful, a conversation that suddenly feels different, a message carrying more honesty than usual, or an unexpected attempt to become closer to you. They want to discover whether the connection they have been feeling privately exists on your side too. And there is something they desperately want you to understand: their hesitation was never proof that they felt nothing. They were trying to understand why you affected them so deeply before making a choice they could not easily take back. Stay till the end, because they have reached a point where silence is starting to feel heavier than honesty. They have imagined telling you what they really see when they think about you. They see someone who challenged their expectations without even trying. Someone who made them question what they truly want from love, commitment, and the future. And now they are wondering whether the very person they were afraid to choose could actually be the person they were meant to stop running from. But there is still one confession beneath everything you have heard, and this is the revelation that could completely change how you understand their behavior. They have been quietly asking themselves one powerful question: if I finally show how much this person means to me, will everything between us change? And somewhere inside them, the answer has become yes. That is exactly why their next move matters so much. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. They are approaching a moment where they may have to choose between remaining comfortable and finally being emotionally honest. And for the first time, they are leaning toward honesty. They do not want another chapter filled with unanswered questions and almost moments. They want clarity. They want to know what could happen if they finally stop hiding what they have been carrying. Stay till the end, because the next revelation goes even deeper. There is one specific reason their feelings became impossible to ignore recently, and once you hear what triggered that realization, their entire next decision will suddenly make sense. Then came the moment they could no longer explain away. It wasn't a dramatic event or some perfect conversation, it was a quiet realization that arrived when they least expected it. Your future life partner suddenly understood that whenever they imagined an important future moment, somehow you appeared inside that picture. When they imagined finally feeling settled, you were there. When they imagined having someone who truly understood the person behind the smile, they thought about you. And that realization changed the meaning of everything they had been hiding. They were no longer asking, "Why do I keep thinking about this person?" They started asking, "Why am I still pretending this connection doesn't matter?" Don't skip, because what happened inside them after that question is where this story becomes completely different. Something huge is waiting for you. They finally admitted that their feelings were not disappearing with time, they were becoming more certain. And once they admitted that, they realized there was another truth they could no longer avoid: if they continued doing nothing, they might eventually watch the opportunity they secretly wanted disappear. But there is something even more surprising. They began looking back at moments between you that seemed ordinary at the time, and suddenly those moments felt completely different. A sentence you said without thinking. A moment when you understood something they never explained. The way they felt unusually peaceful around the thought of you. They started connecting these memories, and the picture forming in their mind surprised them. You had affected them without chasing them, without forcing anything, and without even knowing how closely they were paying attention. Stay till the end, because this is where their next move begins taking shape. They have started thinking less about whether they should reveal something and more about how they should reveal it. They don't want their next step to feel empty. They want you to understand that whatever happens next comes from something they have been carrying quietly for longer than you realize. And beneath all those thoughts is one powerful intention: they want to finally give this connection a real chance instead of endlessly wondering what it could have become. Now pay close attention, because their biggest hidden realization has not been revealed yet. Your future life partner has discovered that what they want from you is not simply attention, they want certainty about whether the future they have quietly imagined could actually become real. That is why their behavior may begin changing. You may notice more openness, more effort, more willingness to say things they previously kept hidden. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because the next decision is approaching the point where thoughts become actions. They have spent enough time analyzing every possibility, and now one possibility keeps becoming stronger than all the others, choosing courage over uncertainty. Stay till the end, because there is still one missing piece. Before they make that move, something inside them must finally be settled, and when you discover what that final hesitation really is, you will understand why their next choice could become the turning point that changes everything between you, and now the final hesitation inside them has finally revealed itself. Your future life partner was never truly questioning whether you mattered, they were questioning whether they were ready for something that could become this meaningful. That difference changes everything. They realized that approaching you with half-hearted intentions would never be enough, because what they secretly feel has already moved beyond curiosity. They have imagined what would happen if they stopped protecting themselves and allowed you to see the truth completely. And strangely, that thought no longer makes them want to step backward. It makes them want to move closer. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. There was a moment recently when they asked themselves one question that changed their entire perspective: if this person walked into a completely new chapter tomorrow, would I regret never telling them what they meant to me? Their answer came immediately. Yes. And that answer became the turning point. They understood that waiting forever could cost them the possibility they secretly value most. Now their next move is no longer being shaped by uncertainty. It is being shaped by the realization that some connections deserve an honest chance before time turns them into unanswered questions, but what they are preparing to reveal goes deeper than feelings. They want you to understand why they became quiet in the first place. Their silence was partly an attempt to make sense of emotions that grew faster than expected. They noticed things about you that stayed with them: the way you carry yourself, the way your presence can shift the atmosphere, and the way certain memories of you return without being invited. Eventually, they stopped treating those moments like coincidences. Stay till the end, because this is where their next move becomes clearer. They have started imagining an honest conversation where they no longer hide behind vague words. They want to know what happens when both of you finally understand where you stand. They are not searching for another confusing chapter. They are searching for clarity. And there is one sentence sitting quietly inside their heart that they have not yet found the right moment to express: I don't want to keep wondering about us. Don't skip. That sentence carries more meaning than it seems, because once someone stops asking whether they should act and starts deciding how they will act, everything begins moving differently. And this is where the story reaches a completely unexpected doorway. Their decision is becoming less about confessing the past and more about creating a different future. Something huge is waiting for you, because they are beginning to understand that their next move must prove what words alone cannot. They may choose greater consistency. They may become noticeably more present. They may finally start a conversation that previously felt impossible. Whatever form it takes, the important change is this: they no longer want their feelings to exist only inside their imagination. Stay till the end, because there is another revelation ahead that could make everything you have heard so far look like preparation. They have made peace with one truth: they cannot control exactly how the story unfolds, but they can control whether they finally show up honestly. And just when they believed they had understood everything they felt about you, another realization surfaced, one even they were not prepared for. It concerns what they would actually be willing to change in their own life if this connection became real. And that answer could reveal just how serious their next move is becoming. What they realized next surprised even them. If this connection ever became real, they would no longer want to approach their future exactly as they did before. Your future life partner has started reconsidering certain priorities, old patterns, and even the emotional walls they once believed they needed. Not because anyone forced them to change, but because thinking about you showed them something they had forgotten, that a meaningful connection requires more than feelings hidden behind silence. It requires presence, consistency, and the courage to be understood. Don't skip, because this is where everything becomes deeper. Something huge is waiting for you. They are beginning to understand that choosing you would also mean choosing a more honest version of themselves. And that realization is powerful because they have spent so much time protecting what they feel that they almost forgot what could happen if they finally allowed someone important to see it. Now the question inside their mind is no longer whether they care. That answer is already clear. The question is whether they are prepared to show you through their actions that this connection deserves more than another unfinished chapter. There is another detail they have kept completely private. They have imagined the moment when you finally realize how seriously they have been thinking about you. They wonder whether you will be surprised, whether everything that once confused you will suddenly make sense, and whether you might admit that you noticed something too. Stay till the end, because their next move is becoming more specific. Instead of waiting for some perfect moment that may never arrive, they are considering creating the opportunity themselves. A more honest conversation. A meaningful gesture. A clear attempt to understand where your heart stands. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because they have finally recognized that endless hesitation gives them no answers. Only truth can do that. And the most surprising part is that they are becoming willing to hear that truth because wondering has become harder than knowing. They want to stop replaying possibilities and discover whether this connection can actually move forward. But one revelation remains, and it may be the strongest one yet. Somewhere inside all their thoughts about you, your future life partner made a quiet promise to themselves: when the opportunity comes, they do not want to repeat the same hesitation that kept them silent before. They want to respond differently. They want courage to speak louder than uncertainty. Something huge is waiting for you, because this changes what their next move represents. It is no longer simply about revealing feelings. It is about finally discovering whether the future they have imagined has a real beginning. Stay till the end. They are closer than ever to crossing that invisible line between thinking and doing, but before they do, one final realization is rising inside them. They have started wondering what would happen if you already sensed everything they were trying to hide. And the answer to that question could give them the final push they have been waiting for, because their biggest surprise may not be what they feel about you. It may be discovering that this connection was never as one-sided or as invisible as they once believed. Now something inside them is beginning to feel impossible to ignore, because your future life partner has started wondering whether you already noticed the little signs they thought they were hiding perfectly. The moments when their attention stayed on you longer than expected. The times they remembered tiny details you may have forgotten mentioning. The strange way their mood seemed to shift whenever your name entered a conversation. They thought these feelings were completely private, but now they are questioning that assumption. And this realization has created an unexpected possibility in their mind. What if you have been sensing this connection too? Don't skip, because that single thought has changed the way they are preparing for what comes next. Something huge is waiting for you. Instead of seeing their feelings as a secret they must protect forever, they are beginning to see them as a truth that deserves an answer. They have reached the point where continuing to wonder feels more difficult than finally knowing. And somewhere deep inside, they have admitted something powerful. If there is even a genuine possibility that you feel something meaningful too, they do not want uncertainty to be the reason this story never gets its chance. But here comes the revelation they were not prepared for. The more they imagined finally opening up, the more they realized that their biggest wish is not simply hearing the perfect response from you. What they truly want is a moment of complete honesty between you. No guessing, no confusing signals, no pretending that nothing meaningful has been happening beneath the surface. Stay till the end, because their next move is being built around that exact desire. They want clarity. They want to understand you instead of creating answers inside their own mind. And that means when they finally move forward, you may notice something very different about them. Less hesitation, more intention. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. They have already imagined themselves saying what they once believed they could never say. That meeting you changed the way they think about connection, timing, and what they truly want beside them in the future. They may not say everything perfectly, but perfection is no longer the goal. Truth is. And once someone reaches that realization, silence begins losing its power. There is still one final turn they did not see coming. Just when they believed their decision was only about approaching you, they discovered that it was also about choosing what kind of person they wanted to become afterward. Someone who keeps meaningful feelings locked away, or someone willing to step forward when something genuinely matters. They are leaning toward the second choice. Something huge is waiting for you, because their next move could become the first moment when everything hidden begins appearing clearly through action. Stay till the end, because what comes next is bigger than another confession. They are preparing to make a choice that could answer the question they have carried for far too long. What could happen if I finally stop holding back and give this connection an honest chance? And the closer they come to answering it, the more one extraordinary realization keeps returning. They may have spent all this time believing they were waiting for the right moment, when perhaps the real moment they were waiting for was simply the moment they finally became ready. The moment they have been waiting for is beginning to feel closer, and your future life partner can sense that something within them has permanently changed. They are no longer trying to convince themselves to forget what they feel. They are no longer searching for reasons to delay what their heart has already acknowledged. Instead, one thought keeps becoming stronger: I need to know what this connection could become. That realization has brought an entirely different energy into their decision. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. What they once considered impossible to express is now becoming the very thing they most want you to understand. They have finally admitted that you are not simply someone they think about during quiet moments. You represent a possibility they genuinely do not want to lose without trying. And that is why their next move could surprise you. They may stop waiting for circumstances to bring you closer and begin creating an opportunity themselves. A conversation could become more personal. Their effort could suddenly become more consistent. Something that once felt uncertain could begin feeling intentional. Stay till the end, because they are approaching the point where their hidden confession will no longer be something only they know. Yet the most surprising change is happening beneath the surface. They have stopped asking themselves whether revealing their feelings will change everything, because they now understand that everything has already changed inside them. Their priorities have shifted. Their idea of what they want from a meaningful relationship has become clearer. And when they picture someone standing beside them through the chapters ahead, your presence keeps appearing in that picture. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because they have quietly decided that if an opening appears, they do not want to respond with the same hesitation as before. They want to meet that moment with honesty. They want their actions to finally match what they have been feeling. And there is one sentence they keep returning to privately: I would rather discover the truth than spend forever wondering. That sentence could become the force behind everything that happens next. They are no longer chasing an imaginary perfect moment. They are becoming ready to take one genuine step and allow the truth between you to reveal what comes after. But there is one last secret hidden underneath their decision, and this may be the revelation that changes the entire meaning of their confession. They have realized that their next move is not about convincing you of anything, it is about finally letting you see them without the emotional distance they once used as protection. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They want you to see the sincerity behind their attention, the reason certain memories of you never disappeared, and why they kept returning mentally to a connection they tried so hard to understand. And when that truth finally reaches the surface, the biggest change may not happen through dramatic words at all. It may happen through one unmistakable choice: they stay, they show up, they become clear, and they stop leaving everything unspoken. Because after everything they have hidden, questioned, and finally confessed to themselves, they have reached one powerful conclusion: the future cannot answer a question they never have the courage to ask. Their next chapter begins when they finally decide to ask it. Beyond that final question, something even more powerful has begun unfolding inside your future life partner. They have realized that the answer they are searching for cannot be found by replaying old moments or imagining endless possibilities. It can only be discovered by moving forward with honesty. And now, for the first time, they feel ready. They are thinking about how different everything could become once you finally understand what they have been hiding about you. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Their hidden truth was never simply that they cared, it was that somewhere along the way, you became connected to the future they secretly hoped to build. That realization surprised them because they did not plan it. They did not wake up one morning and decide to think this deeply about you. It happened gradually, through memories, conversations, and those quiet moments when your name somehow returned to their mind. Now those scattered feelings have become one clear realization: they want to know whether there is something real here worth choosing. And the